Welcome to Family Worship Center, where our mission is to make disciples and our passion is the presence of God. In Scripture, it's written that God loves a cheerful giver. He also gives special instruction to those in a family setting. Today, Pastor Shawn will address whether or not we are prioritizing another person's needs before our own families. Before we continue, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more uplifting content. And if you're in the Central Florida area, we'd love to see you right here on Sunday for our 9 or 11 a.m. services. Let's dive in.
1 Timothy chapter 5 and verse 8 says, if anyone does not provide for their relatives, and especially for the members of their household, they have denied the faith and are worse than an unbeliever. Now, what is that text saying? It's saying that you're forced into a hierarchy and that you have so much, and what you have in energy and what you have in resources needs to be used to care for the people in your own household in such a way that when it's absolutely necessary, you can include some other people that are relatives, that you are responsible to make sure that this goes well. That is not just talking. We've used that as just a sort of a thing to tell guys that you have to go make as much money as you possibly can so that no one in your house has to ever work a job and it's all on your shoulders. That's not what this text is actually saying. It is saying that we should, guys, absolutely, we should work our tails off. We should be the hardest workers in the house. That doesn't mean we'll make the most of the people in the house. Your wife, she might make more money than you do, but she shouldn't work harder. You should carry the burden on your shoulders. We cannot, look, we're already there, so let's just sit here for a minute. We shouldn't be at a place, guys, where we're just hanging out on the couch with our headphones on playing video games with buddies while our wives are working their tails off. Like we should be the hardest working people in the house. And you say, but my wife makes more money than you. Great! That means there's more money in the house. That's an awesome thing. Thank God for her gifts, for her income. Awesome. But she can't work harder than you. You have to work the hardest. Okay, keep on. In that, it is also required of us that we provide for the members of our house. That's not just financial. That's leadership. That is being present. That is having the hard conversations. That is teaching. That is giving discipline. That is raising your household in the fear and the admonition of God. And when we do not do that, we have actually departed from the faith. What does that mean? This is fully consistent with how we preach salvation, that faith without works is dead. If you do not live in such a way that the gospel commands you to live, you will depart from the faith. And what happens when you depart from the faith? You're worse than an unbeliever. Because it goes on to tell us that it's better if you didn't ever experience the presence of God than to experience the presence of God and then reject it. This is why he says you're worse than an unbeliever. But that's not the only place he talks about this. We also see this in Galatians chapter 6 in verse 10. He says, so then, as we have opportunity, let us do good to everyone, and especially to those of the household of faith. So again, we have this requirement of creating hierarchy where when we only have so much, we have to make sure that the much that we have is used in alignment with the hierarchy that he has created. So here's what this means. You help yours, you help those around you, and if you have more, you can help somebody else. But if you don't, do not feel guilty for not being able to do this. Rather, he's holding your faith accountable to this. Now, if we push that conversation out further into a national conversation, nations only have so much resource. From the resource that nations have, we take care of the people who are in our nation. If people come illegally into our nation. And when I say illegally, what does that mean? That means we said you can't come in, and they came in anyhow. If you were at your door and the Amazon man came up and he had a package and you said, could you just leave it there? And he just walked in your house, there'd be a problem. If just some random person came up to your door and said, can I come in and grab some chips and use your bathroom? And you said, I don't know who you are, so no, you can't, but I've got a bush in the back of the house you can borrow, and there's a hose bib back there. But if they just walked in, there would be a problem. So there is something about obeying the laws of the land. If we only have so much, then we can't take everybody in. Why? Or then we won't be able to care for the people who are already here. And our first priority of any nation is the people within the boundary of the land that they have. It's not the only priority. I just said it's the first priority. So let's look at it like this. Let's just throw it in dollars and cents, because this sometimes makes people mad. It actually helps me. When they budgeted this year, when the government budgeted this year, and people much smarter than me, they have to deal with trillions of dollars. So I'm not judging. I'm just making a few notes. They had all this money to budget, and they knew they weren't going to secure a particular border. So then they decided we need to allocate $60 billion to take care of people who are going to come in illegally. That's a big number, $60 billion. They also said, okay, hurricane season is going to be really big this year. We can just tell it's one of those, so we need to allocate money for our people who might be devastated by hurricanes. So we will allocate $18.8 billion. $60 billion, $18.8 billion. It's actually 66. It's 150 total if you include the state's money, but just the federal money, $66 billion. 18.8, and we have veterans who have fought for our country, who we should give benefits to, and we're gonna budget oh, absolutely. We're going to budget $3 billion for that. $3 billion, $18.8 billion, $66 billion. Here's my point. We are doing a lot to bring people in, but there is a limit. And I don't feel guilty by saying, would somebody shut the door and lock it? Because there's only so much that we have. Here's why this matters to me at a national conversation. Because people tend to take the foolishness of the nation and then apply it to their homes. And what happens is we, in our households, have come to a place where we are spending far more money than we have to spend. We are doing far more than we should do, and we are wrecking our own households, and it's not a good idea. But we are looking at the irresponsibility of the nation, and we're projecting that onto ourselves individually. And Proverbs is very clear. If you spend more than you make, you will become a slave to the lender. And when we as families become slave to the lender, we as families are, we're hurt in our capacity to move forward. So this is the bigger point of this part, is not keeping people out. It's us taking care of our family. The gospel command is to take care of our families. And when we have more, then we should absolutely share with people who do not have what we have. But that will bring us to a limit. There will be a limit to that, and we should be mature enough to have that conversation and understand where that limit is. We can push it all the way to the limit, but we can't cross it. We can't push further. So our families matter. People matters. Our land boundary matters.